Hey guys, welcome back to So That's Gaming. This isn't the original setting for this video, unfortunately, because I was doing a dual camera setup and, well, one of the phones was an old phone that I had to factory reset and I forgot to take the video off. So I'm having to re-record this intro to talk about what we're doing. I don't have the box in front of me, unfortunately, because I'm trying to get this video edited out here on the road. But I ordered the Retroflag's NESPi 4 case and a Raspberry Pi to put together a little, Raspberry Pi project. So from here, I'm gonna go and show off, the whole build process and everything, and do a little bit of an unboxing and show you guys what you think. And then in the future video, we're going to go ahead and get the software installed. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to that video that we just talked about. So here we are, the NESPi 4 case. And it says SSD case with USB-C power supply, already included in the box by Retroflag. On the back, it just kind of gives you a rundown of what the basic, well, it says instruction, but there's not really no instructions there, but take it as Alright. So, yes, I've already opened it. I want to make sure there was no damage. No point in doing an unboxing and find out we have damaged product. So, here we are. We're going to pull this out here. Pull this other stuff out. Set this box up to the side. Let's see, a letter to address you. Well, this is like a thank you note from the Amazon store that I got it from. A pamphlet that gives basic instructions on assembly, including a safe shutdown script, which I'll also include in the description as well, so you can download that and follow those instructions. So we'll set that aside for the time being. What else we have to do? Let's that boy up. We have a micro HDMI to standard HDMI connector. That's handy because the Raspberry Pi only has micro HDMI, so that's nice that they included that. What else we got here? Let's see, we have a couple. Looks like we have a couple like little heat sinks or case badges, I guess. So you look at these; they're stamped with a Raspberry Pi logo, and there's two of them. So I'm not sure what those are for, but maybe the instructions will explain more about what those are for. So I'm gonna put these back in the bag so I don't lose those. And this must be the power adapter for everything. It's a pretty good sized power adapter, micro C. It's rated at 3 amps. So that's 15 watts at $5. There. And the piece de resistance. This thing is so cool. So there it is. And I'm not exactly sure how this compares to the mini NES that they had released, that Nintendo released, but it's pretty good size. Here's the SSD in my comparison, so it's pretty small. So, and here should be the cartridge. This is the that's right here is the primary reason why I got this, because the little NES cartridge, and it actually inserts and it's actually functioning because you install your games and whatnot on it, or you can actually boot from this and have get extras of these and have different versions of Retropi booting up. So it's got a little label on here. It just says cartridge Retropi NES case. Of course, part of the label's got to say it's made in China. And then even a little spine sticker there. So we'll set that over here. Close that up. Reset button, and it actually, I thought it would be like it's a fixed switch. Got a USB 2 and USB 3 port on the front of it. The original vents, just like on the regular NES. I'm trying to hold this at the right angle so I can see if they go all the way through. It looks like they do. There are, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. No, you probably can't. A couple of these go all the way through, so there is some kind of ventilation. On the side, you get access to your micro SD card on the Pi, your 2 micro USB ports, the audio port, a full-size network cable, and the power in. On the bottom, looks just like the original NES, and instead of this being the expansion port, this is where you can store your extra SSDs for, if you don't want to, boot off of this and want to boot off different SSDs, you can do that. That's a place to store them. So let's go ahead and open this up. It kind of snaps together. Here we are. Come on. There we are. So here's how the SSD connects. It's got a USB interface for USB 3. That'll plug into the Pi when you put it all together. Step off to the side. Looks like it comes with a screwdriver, a couple heat sink pads, and the screws. So at least they make it easier. Oh, and the screwdriver is magnetized. That's always handy. Pretty good magnet, not bad. So at least you don't have to take out any tools for this. And it's got the screws, and like I said, it's got these heat sink pads. So keep all that together, and you have a couple. Looks like 6 long ones, 2 black long ones, and a couple of the shorter ones, which are. Looks like a couple different ones in here. I guess some are for assembling those screws and installing the Pi and whatnot. So put that to the side so they don't get lost. Let's see. Our heat sink and fan. That's actually pretty hefty, for what it is. And it has a little 2-pin power, which I believe plugs in onto the board here. And looks like there's a high spot here, so I guess that's so you can orient it the right way. So there's that. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, please remove the SD card before installing the Raspberry Pi, because, well, you'll cause damage. And so there it is. Here's the USB port for the front, 2.0. Looks like this will plug into the GPIO header on the Raspberry Pi. And looks like there's one more here, this kind of tucked under here. And the USB 3 port there has a pre-attached Ethernet interface for the back. And let's see, yeah, so this right here is where we'll install the heatsink fan. And this switch right here is for the safe shutdown script. So we're gonna, so we don't forget, we're going to switch that to on so that it's ready to go. So yeah, all in all, it's pretty cool. So alright, just set the left side. Let's go ahead and get this. Now the last Pi that I bought, I believe it was a might have been a 2. So they haven't, the form factor hasn't changed and the size of it hasn't really changed, but the I/O has changed. So we got our onboard DRAM there of 4 gigabytes. Let's see. I'm not going to pretend that I know what any of this stuff is, but looks like there's a couple different chips on there. Probably, I think it has built-in Wi-Fi, so that might be the Wi-Fi antenna and stuff, and then powered stuff, and yep, a VIA controller. It looks like that's probably for the USB, and yeah. So, yep, audio jack, micro HDMI, Type C, These would be your display and camera headers here. The 40-pin GPIO, and I'm not really sure what these little 4 pins over here are for, but I don't believe we'll be using them. So it says PoE real small there. I don't know if you can see that, but so there it is, a Raspberry Pi 4 Model B. Just do a quick test fit, see how this looks here. Moving these cables out of the way. I guess we're not hooking this up, so I guess this will just slide right on in there, one way or another. Let's see. There we go. Just sit in there like that. You access all your ports and your micro SD card slot. Pretty cool. So it looks like all this assembly is going to be pretty straightforward. So I guess we're just going to go ahead and start hooking that up. I'm not going to worry about, you know, the SD card and getting that set up and everything else. So included your Pi, you get your Raspberry Pi safety and user guide. I don't know if there's any other, mostly just multiple languages. Probably tells you to go to raspberrypi.org or whatever and download Raspbian to get started, blah blah blah. Let's see, some do's and don'ts. Don't do this, don't do that. Don't pull the chips off. Oh wait. Alright, so I'm not going to need any of that. Just going to set that up to the side. And to make sure all this gets streamlined, let's go ahead and crack this SSD open real quick. Get that out. Oh, there we go. So I got a a silicon power SSD. I mean, it was inexpensive, 256 gigabyte. I think it was like 20 bucks or something like that. So for what we're going to be using the Pi for, we're not going to need a whole lot of storage. So, all right. Let's get on with the assembly. So, making sure that we put the correct screws in the correct spots here. It's talking about this. Wants us to put our thermal pads on here first. So let's go ahead and get those out of the bag. Now, keeping in mind that these thermal pads are lined with plastic here to peel off on both sides. If I can get a focus there. Focus. Well, that's not going to want to go. Believe me, there is a small film on here, so we got to remove that. Put that in my garbage pile there. So they're both the same size. We want to put it on the processor there. Let's get the other side of that plastic off. And then also wants to put it on to the RAM, it looks like. Off here. Put you right there. So, oop, get something on that. There we go. Get the plastic off of this one too. There we go. All right, just like that. And so we're going to plug in our USB 1 here, our USB 3 in the bottom port of the USB 3s. Fighting in here. And then we'll just kind of very carefully here. Actually, a lot more snug than I imagined it being. It's not wanting to go in here willingly, I'm telling you. Come on. There we are. Alright, now we just gotta get you in here, pushing you back. Come on. There. All hooked up. It's in there pretty snug, so we gotta install everything plugged in. Yep. Okay. now that that's done, the GPIO even has a little label on it to let you know that which color wires need to face towards the front of the console. And these are going to be plugged into the last set of pins here on the header. So we got the red wires here. The green wires are going to face towards the board. So I'll make sure that those are back here. We'll just kind of coax these into going right where we want them to go there. Just like so. Just kind of push those down out of the way, and well, for the most part, that's about it. All I'm down to now is the screws. Now, see which screws is it wanting here. So GPIO. So since the DRAM is lower, I'm guessing that it wants me to put it this way. Let's see. So this little bumper here is going to go on top of the DRAM portion since it is lower than the CPU. Not by much, but just enough. Get this lined up there. All set in there. And we're going to need the black screws first to screw down our heatsink here. They're not wanting to come out. Let's see if I can get it. Let's use this Raspberry Pi box to dump our screws out in so that way we don't lose anything. There we are. Alright. And the black screws are going to go into the bottom holes here. Let's get this one started. Bolted down there. Now this wire does get plugged into this little header right here. So it shows it's marked positive and negative. Red is positive. Line that up. Press it in. There we are. Alright, so I think we're done with this portion. All we do now is install the top. So we've got the front facing me. Make sure I got the front facing me here. We'll take our other USB and we're going to plug it into the top port of the Raspberry Pi. Doing a little convincing of getting this down in here. It is kind of a snug fit, but it will fit. And there we go. They're all put together. Bam. Now all things left to do is put these other 6 screws in here. The other long ones here. Drop these in one at a time. There we go. You'll feel it's tight the whole way down, but just once you feel it kind of like actually stop, because we don't want to strip them out. Barely feel it. I think we're close. There we go. Time for a sip. Yes. Alright. So I'm going to take these other 4 screws and get them lined up and dropped in. Get those tightened down. Starting over here. Now I'll be installing Retropi. I've got most of the files already downloaded. The initial setup is going to require a keyboard at the very least. I don't think you'll need a mouse because you'll need to open up Terminal in order to type in the script that you need to run in order to install the safe shutdown. But other than that, yeah, get Retropi in here, and then we'll get our NES games all put on here, and some SNES games, and some Sega games, and Game Boy games, maybe a few Game Boy Advance games. I don't know. One is we're gonna have all my backups that I have, cartridge here, cartridge there. I'll get them all copied onto here. And it's gonna be a neat little console just kind of throw in the living room, especially since we'll have the wireless controllers to control it with. Now I'm pretty sure that I can customize the main home screen on Retropi, because I'm not going to install like TurboGrafx 16 and some of these other consoles, because I'm really not that familiar with them, and I never really played any games on those systems, so there's really no point in having them if I'm not going to use them. So I'll limit those menu options, and yeah. But if you've never seen the Retropi interface, it's pretty cool. I'll try to show it in this video, but yeah. Alright, last screw here. Now I've seen people get Retropi set up and have it start fresh after an install, and the first time takes a while because it's got to load everything, but unless they edited the video or they cut out the whole boot sequence, I think that the whole setup install is pretty quick. So, alright, our NESPi case is all done. Screws are all installed. Verify all our ports are showing up here. Good, good, good. And our micro SD card port you can see in there. So we are definitely good to go. Now all that's left, we got to get our cartridge together. So we'll set our NESPi case off to the side. We have our SSD and our SSD case. This is pretty cool. So just pop that apart, and so there's 4 screws for this. There's 2 that holds the shell together. Let's go through here, and then on the edges here. And there's 2 more that help secure the SSD. So since there's little nubs and there's screw holes, it's got to go on this way. So that was sit down on nubs right there, and we'll get these screws installed, which will be the shorter ones with the fat heads on it. Those screws down there. Where'd you go? There you go. Now our SSD's installed. So we're just gonna snap this bad boy back together. Put the screws in. Come on. Get shy here. Oh, yeah, put the top end together first, just like a real NES cartridge. There we go. Yeah. Alright. We'll take our remaining screws here, and these will hold this case together. There we are, our case. Now that's just freaking cool, Alright, let's go ahead. Now, no peel pouring, so you're gonna have to settle for. Let's put our game cartridge in. There we are. And come on. Seriously? Sometimes I just happen to pick an SSD that has to be off center. Oh, there it goes. It's a little stiff, but we're in there. So this, for the most part, with the exception of the micro SD card and initial setup, this bad boy is go. So, now that all this happy horse stuff is done, let's go ahead and clear our space here a little bit. Get this off the side, we can do this, that. You know what? Does it ever mention those case badges? That's what they are, I believe. I believe they're case badges. Let's see. Nope. Doesn't say anything about the little case badges. I think I asked you guys a question about case badges in a previous video when I was doing the new Ryzen build. You guys for case badges, not for case badges? Put in the comment section below. Alright, let's set this bad boy to the side. Let's just go on, we're not going to look at both of them. Let's just look at one of these wireless controllers. Now, when I bought these, they were a 2-pack. Now, it says multicolored here, so let's go into the box here. So it's 2.4 gigahertz wireless. I'm wondering if I have to use both dongles or if both controls will work off of one dongle. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So, it says D-pad, sensitive, precise buttons, USB charging cable. Let's see, PC, notebook computers, MacBooks, and Raspberry Pi compatible. Your standard USB port. If you program or application accepts USB controller input, just plug and play. Blah blah blah, all that jazz. So, all right, let's get that way. I thought I smelled something weird. Okay. Alright. So inside the box we have our instruction manual for 2.4 gigahertz wireless USB controller. Please read before use. No one ever does that. Probably says something like along the lines to make sure it's fully charged, blah blah blah. Got our USB cable. It's a micro USB charging cable. Wow, just real simple wire packaging here. No frills, no frills. And the standard, like, familiar SNES wishbone controller with original SNES colors. Now, I know that this, you know, it seems odd to compare with the NESPi, but, you know, I was thinking about the games that would be installing. Now, I was trying to find one that looked like the regular NES controller that had 4 buttons and shoulder buttons. I didn't find any I liked, so I went with these. Maybe I'll find something else later. So, but there's a controller. Looks no different than the original SNES controller. Yeah, I think even on the original SNES controller, these were angled too. So, the only difference is there's no cord and there's a charging port. And the USB dongle. I think what would be nice if there was a place where you could store this, like slide it to the side for when you're not using it. So I don't lose it. I'm just gonna plug this into the front. There we go. So yeah, there's a controller. So next all we could do. Alright, so that was my little unboxing and, you know, little rundown of it being put together and everything else. Sorry about the audio, because if you look at my shirt, you'll see I'm wearing a wireless mic, and unfortunately that wireless mic was connected to the other phone that I was being used as my second camera. So all that nice, clear, crisp audio is on the other camera and gone forever. So from here in the next video, following this one, it won't be a problem, but the video's being done on the computer. We're setting up the USB flash drive and, I'm sorry, the SD card, and running through the whole setup process for the NESPi case, so that it will boot into Retropi and load and run ROMs or my backups from the SSD or the NES cartridge. So look forward to that. Thanks you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. And if you have any questions or concerns or opinions or whatever, you can also leave those down there as well. If you haven't already done so, be sure and click that subscribe button. Get subscribed and keep coming back for more gaming content. And if you want to be part of that notification squad, click that little bell icon next to the subscribe button and never miss one of my videos. So anyways, thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.